Hi guys, we are all thinking of you here as you are in Florida, and also of you, Nancy, as the 1 year anniversary of Jack's passing is today. We thought it might help to bring some fun memories and good memories of Jack into focus as you guys get through this day today, and to also let you guys know that everyone is missing and thinking about Jack in the neighborhood, and we're all sending our love. Well, we didn't know Jack nearly as well as many of the other neighbors in the neighborhood. We did have the privilege of getting to know him and Nancy for several years in the neighborhood. One thing that I remember about Jack is he always had such a kind and loving heart and always took the time to stop and visit with everybody. I remember when we first moved here, Tony was about 4 years old, and at that time he was obsessed with cars, especially convertibles. And so when Jack would nice and slowly pull into the neighborhood in the afternoon, he would stop and visit and let Tony get into the convertible with him and drive nice and slow down the rest of the cul-de-sac. And Tony just thought that was like the greatest thing in the world. From all of the stories that I've heard about Jack, he had such a big, kind, and loving heart. And Amy, I see so much of that in you. And one thing that I am so thankful for, and I think the greatest gift that Jack has given me is you, Amy, because you have really become one of my best friends. And we are both there for each other, and you've helped me through so much. And I just see so much love in you, and you're so genuine and caring, and you remember the smallest details about somebody's life, and then you'll follow up with them a few days later. And I've heard that you picked that up from your dad, who also did that as well. So I love you. Nancy, we're thinking of you as well today, and just wanted to tell you that one thing I always loved seeing about you and Jack was just your fun, loving relationship between the two of you, and I just thought you guys were a true love story. You could kind of pick up on that. So we're thinking of you as well. One last thing, Rick made fun of me for putting this in here, but one last thing I always remembered about Jack was that he was a great hugger and he always smelled good. So, cheers to Jack. We love you guys.
Yeah, on that note, the fact that he smelled so good was such a great hugger. I remember one time Michelle came home in her new X5 in the neighborhood, and I think Jack was out walking around, and Michelle pulled in real slow with her new X5, and he said, "Wow, that's really a good-looking car." And Michelle, being witty, of course, and not one to filter things, said, "Well, yeah, you just have to sleep with the general manager, and you get one of these." And I remember Jack saying very quickly, "Well, that sounds good. Let me know if you ever need any office furniture." So anyway, those were the things that obviously quick-witted, a real gentleman. Um, I think that he just reminded me of, as I grew older, someone that I will want to model myself after as being a family man and a community man, and just engaged in people's lives, and someone who really looked out for everybody, and was just a really good neighbor and really good person. So we're thinking lots of you guys. We're happy to have you a part of our lives, and hopefully these memories that you see will bring you some cheer and some joy, and bring back some good memories while you're celebrating life down in Florida.
All right, love you guys. We'll
See
see
ya.
you soon.
Okay, message to Edwards, take 10.
You're supposed to hold it up so we don't look
Yeah,
fat.
I don't do selfies, but Edwards, we know you're down in Disney World.
And Nancy, not sure if you're going to see this either.
And Nancy, not sure if you're gonna see this either, but if you get a chance, say hi to Mickey and Minnie for Schmitty, and know that we're thinking about you guys because I know it's also the 1 year anniversary of the passing of our good friend Jack. And I always told Jack every time I had a chance that, Jack, you ought to know this, that I like Nancy more than I like you. Actually, come to think of it, I like Amy more than I like Alex. So that's besides the point. What did you want to say something?
Well, similarly, Jack, one of my favorite things about him, or one thing I loved about him, is that even stop doing that. That even if he always had a way of making people feel special, and especially,
He always cut me down.
yeah, he would say he wouldn't care about Dan, and he would say just care about me and seeing me, even if I had no makeup on like now, and looked ugly or whatever, he always he always had a way of making you feel special. So that's one of the many things I miss about him.
Anyway, we want you guys to know that we're thinking of you. We love y'all. Nancy Jones, miss you too, baby. We hope you guys have a good time down there, and just think about nothing but good thoughts and coming home safe, so Amy can start making those Christmas cookies for me. Love you guys.
Love
Take
you
care.
guys. Thinking of you.
Is that pretty good?
Cut.
Cut.
Luann is out traveling tonight and not able to be here with us, but I know she would share in these sentiments. We're thinking of Jack this week and remembering him fondly. Here's to Jack.
To Jack.
Was always so fun and friendly. He was a really classy guy. We always had a great time with him. We loved to go out to dinner with them and hang out. Funny thing was he always had to go to bed early though, so the party would end soon for him. And we always enjoyed his company. And as a side note, he was the best hugger.
One of my memories of Jack is when I was little and all the neighbor kids and I would go over to his house to play basketball in his driveway. He would always supply us the basketball since we didn't really have any. He also taught us how to use the hoop since we had no idea what we were doing. But he would always watch us and cheer us on as we played as well. I also remember when we would go to Jack's house for a dinner party and my dad and Jack would talk for hours about business and funny stories that I would listen in on.
Hi Amy. I know today is a difficult day for you, and I just wanted to send you my love and let you know that you're in our heart and prayers. And I just wanted to let you know that from what I knew of your father, he was such a wonderful man, a genuine heart, and I think that's something that he passed down to you. And I'm just so grateful for your friendship, and I just wish you a safe trip, and we look forward to seeing you back here in Minnesota.
Hey Amy, it's Kaylee and me. I know this past year has been just a roller coaster of emotions for you and your family, and your dad was loved by so many people, as you know, and I know he's missed by lots, and I know it won't be easy, or it's not easy, but you're in our thoughts and prayers today.
Hi guys, hope you're enjoying Florida. Wanted to take a minute to let you know we're thinking about you this week, and also let you know we're spending some time remembering your dad as well.
Yeah, he was the very first neighbor to greet us almost 14 years ago on a very cold, dark January night after we'd spent all day moving in boxes. It was really dark, in the midst of a blizzard. Mark and I were unpacking. All of a sudden, the doorbell rang. We thought, who could that be? And sure enough, it was Jack with a bottle of wine welcoming us to the neighborhood. We just thought, wow, how lucky we are to be moving into this great neighborhood where, you know, some of our dearest friends were Jack and Nancy next door.
Yeah, and I have fond memories of running into him in the circle, discussing sports, offering opinions, getting his take on things that were going on. There's never a shortage of things to talk about, whether it was Gophers, Vikings, Twins. He had an opinion and a take on about every topic.
And then there were, of course, the parties, the Christmas parties at Jack and Nancy's, Jack's birthday party at the Choo Choo. There were Super Bowl parties, and of course, we always think of Jack at this time of the year. The great, super clever costumes at the Halloween party. Always so fun to hang out with Jack and Nancy.
Yeah, we also miss him keeping Schmitty in line. He always had a witty and appropriate comeback to many of the things that Dan would say, and no one's been able to keep Dan in line since.
The banter back and forth between them was priceless. But also, you know, one of the things that I just think of the most when I think about Jack is how thoughtful and encouraging he was. There's a saying, something about, you know, what you remember about a person isn't so much about what they say, but about how they make you feel. And Jack just had a way of always making you feel like $1 million. And that's one of the many reasons that we miss him.
So, anyways, we'll continue to reminisce this week and remember him. But we thought tonight we would share a drink in his honor. So, to Jack.
Here's to you.
Hi, as you know, we had a great opportunity to be really good friends with Jack, and we're so thankful that we had so many good times with him and lots of opportunities to laugh and have some really great memories. One of my favorite memories is we were at Eagle Street before a Wild game, and I had just come back from Walmart, and Jack was asking me about my trip, and we were talking about the upcoming Halloween party and kind of going on, and conversation changed, and all of a sudden he said, I know what I'm going to be for Halloween. I'm going to be a Walmart greeter. And we absolutely fell apart. We laughed so hard, and we'd finally regain our composure, and then someone would start giggling again, and it was just hysterical. It was such a funny night. And then everyone's faces when he walked into the Halloween party that night, it was just absolutely priceless.
I think the other part that goes with that story is Jack trying to get his Walmart vest. He actually went into a Walmart and asked them for a vest, and they said you have to be an employee. So he asked how he would become an employee, and so they went and got the store manager. The store manager came out and said, well, you have to fill out an application. So Jack said, give me an application. And she said, well, we're not going to hire you anyway. And Jack's response was, well, how do you know? You haven't even seen my resume yet. It just kind of goes to show Jack's sense of humor and his quick wit. Another story that comes to mind with me is Jack was out of town, and Nancy was having trouble with her car. She couldn't get it started. She didn't know what was wrong, and she was talking to Jack, and Jack said, well, call one of the neighbors. Well, Nancy called Dan Schmidt. We're not sure why, but the first thing Dan did was he called me. So the two of us went over to help Nancy, and we got her car going. So she called Jack back, and she said, yeah, Jack, Dan and Mark came over and fixed the car, so everything's fine. And he said, well, who'd you call first? And she said, well, I called Dan. And he goes, well, why did you call Dan? Why didn't you just call Mark first? Because you knew Dan was just going to call Mark. So it's just another story that, you know, it brings back a lot of memories.
We also were so appreciative of Jack, I was, for his kindness to my dad and willingness to play golf with him on numerous occasions here in Minneapolis, and then also in Naples. They would get together in the spring when Jack and Nance would go down to Sanibel, and that was always really fun to know that they had a good friendship and that they were willing to see each other on off times. And we miss him, we loved him, great friend. We're so happy to have such wonderful memories.
In conclusion, for me, you know, one thing, I think about Jack a lot more than I ever thought I would. But whenever I think about Jack, I usually end up with a tear in my eye and a smile on my face. I consider myself a better person for knowing Jack, and I don't know of a better tribute that you could give anyone. I realize this is going to be a rough day for you guys, and hopefully this will offer you a little bit of comfort.